Men often collapse in an instant. This man who cries while cheering himself on. He is a delivery man. It was just yesterday when he was delivering a package. Not only was he robbed by 3 thugs, he was also severely injured in the beating. While waiting for the X-ray results at the hospital, he received a call from his supervisor. He not only received no compensation for medical treatment, he also needs to compensate the company for £2,000 worth of goods. If he can't go to work tomorrow, he will also face a huge fine. Although he is covered in injuries and can only see clearly with one eye, for his family, he still chooses to grit his teeth and continue working. When he is out of sight of his family, he can no longer hold back and bursts into tears. The man's name is Ricky. He used to have a happy and fulfilling family. The subprime mortgage crisis in 2008. It not only caused Ricky and his wife to lose their jobs, but also burdened them with a lot of debt. They can only continue living in rented accommodation. Life of being constantly rushed around. They also have a pair of children to support. The wife is gentle and considerate. Now working as a home care worker. Had to work from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. A 14-hour job with no fixed salary per day. The amount of income completely depends on how many people he takes care of. Her clients are some elderly people who cannot take care of themselves, or elderly people whom their children are unwilling to take care of. Both the son and daughter are still studying. The son is at the rebellious age, often skips classes and graffiti on the streets. Ricky also frequently receives warnings from the school. One day, a job called self-employment attracted Ricky. Need to have your own car and deliver the packages yourself. It looks very free, and the more you work, the more you earn. In reality, the packages, routes, and daily tasks are fixed. These are all fixed. The company also tracks the delivery routes. Being late or damaging packages will result in fines. The so-called self-employment. In plain terms, there is no employment contract. There is no insurance. There are no benefits whatsoever. Ricky, who has no experience at all, urgently needs a job. He sold the car his wife used for work. He bought a truck AK65 JFX with a down payment and installment. This means that from now on, he has to work continuously without stopping, in order to repay the loan on time. On the first day of work, everything went wrong. Parking on the roadside. He almost got a ticket. Some recipients are not at home, wasting time running errands for nothing. This makes Ricky, who already has a bad temper, even more irritable and easily angered. On his wife's side, due to the lack of a car, it is very inconvenient. Taking a taxi is too expensive and not cost-effective. She has no choice but to take the bus for transportation. Although taking the bus saves money, it is not as convenient as driving or taking a taxi in terms of stops. And it also takes more time. In order to take care of all the clients properly, she can only wake up earlier and come home later every day. Fortunately, my wife has a kind heart. She is gentle and patient with the elderly. The clients have no complaints about her either. No matter how late she returns home, she still has to take care of the family's meals and daily life. Sometimes, all of this makes her feel physically and mentally exhausted. The whole family is also trying to adapt to the new rhythm. The next day, as soon as she arrived at the company, Ricky saw his colleague being fined for being late, because he talked back to the supervisor and had no work to do. The work environment is filled with anger everywhere. Sometimes, he also encounters eccentric neighbors. The recipient is not at home. He wanted the neighbor to help with the package delivery. The neighbor, however, said they hated that person the most. Ricky tried to say good things. The neighbor finally agreed to receive the package, but they refused to sign their real name. They claimed it was to protect their personal privacy. He also encounters talkative clients. They keep talking to Ricky about football. When they found out that they liked different teams, the customer constantly insults and humiliates Ricky's favorite team. To prove his point, the customer can dig up the 1982 game. After a heated argument and exchange of insults, Ricky angrily walks away, working over 14 hours a day, making him and his wife extremely exhausted. He falls asleep on the couch as soon as he gets home. His daughter is an excellent student at school. She is also smart and sensible at home, assisting Ricky with deliveries on weekends, greatly improving work efficiency. The customer finds his daughter lively and adorable. He even gives her a tip. This is an experience Ricky has never had before. Ricky happily buys Indian food to celebrate at home. The whole family gathers together and enjoys the meal. Just when they thought everything was going well, their son gets into trouble at school. What is the pain of middle age? Men become unemployed due to the financial crisis. It was not easy to find a job delivering packages. A son going through a rebellious phase. Lack of communication and companionship caused a lot of trouble. He has skipped class so many times that he can't even count. He got into fights at school again. The parent-teacher meeting is tomorrow. Today, his wife discovered the letters hidden by their son. The school's requirements are: both parents must be present. It's such an urgent time. The two of them simply didn't have time to arrange it. His wife had to keep apologizing to clients over the phone. Ricky couldn't find a replacement at that moment. He brought his emotions into his work. In order to reduce communication time, he became more assertive in his attitude. He even got into physical conflicts with clients. As a result, he received complaints from clients. Not only was he reprimanded, but he was also fined. After he finished delivering the packages, he went to the school. The parent-teacher meeting had already ended. He didn't attend the parent-teacher meeting on time. This made the school very angry. Believes that both parents and children have improper attitudes. The school punished his son with a 2-week suspension. Ricky is extremely angry. He wanted to give his son a good lesson. His wife doesn't want to see Ricky like this. He directed his anger towards his wife. He believes that all of this is because she didn't communicate well with the school. He had an argument with his wife. It was the first argument they had since they met. After the argument, Ricky regretted it. He believes that all of this is because he has been too busy lately. Lack of companionship and communication with his family. The next day, he found his supervisor. He wanted to take 3 days off to spend quality time with his family. The supervisor first gave a long list of grandiose reasons. Finally, he got to the point and said, "If you don't work, you will have to pay a fine." Ricky had no choice but to give up. He was just about to start his work for the day. He received a call from the police. His son was caught stealing at the supermarket. If there is no parent to pick up, it will be recorded. Ricky hurriedly contacted his wife. She can't leave because she's taking care of clients. Ricky had no choice but to pay the fine and come to the scene for absenteeism. The officer told him, "This won't be recorded in your personal file this time, but it will be kept on record at the police station." Ricky was very angry when he got home. He kept venting his anger on his son. But his son acted like nothing happened. He just kept his head down playing with his phone. Ricky wanted to confiscate his son's phone. This led to a heated argument between the two of them. The daughter got scared and rushed into her mother's arms. The son angrily slammed the door and left. Ricky knew his son would go to see his friends. He reassured his wife and daughter. When Ricky woke up in the morning, he found that all the photos on the wall were sprayed with X marks. Except for the individual photo of his daughter and wife. It was obvious that his son was targeting him. Just as he was about to go to work, he discovered that the car keys were missing. He went out on his bike to look for them, but couldn't find them. He went home alone and started drinking in silence. When he saw his son come back, he asked his son where he had hidden the keys. But his son replied, "I have no idea what you're talking about. SJ Ghost." Ricky couldn't hide his anger. He slapped his son hard. Seeing the terrified expression on his wife's face, Ricky immediately regretted it. He went to sit on a bench in the park. He sat there until it got dark. In the evening, their daughter called Ricky and his wife. She took out the car keys from a doll. She had hidden the keys. She believed that all of this was caused by work. As long as Ricky didn't go to work, there would be no more arguments at home. The three of them immediately burst into tears. Ricky and his wife knew very well, if they don't go to work, their lives will become even more difficult. However, what they didn't expect was, the next day on their way to work, Ricky was severely injured in an attack. Do you know how delivery drivers handle emergencies? The man drove the car to a less crowded area, quickly ran to the back of the car, opened the trunk and took out an empty bottle, screwed the cap back on and put it back in the car. Just then, 3 thugs arrived. They beat him up. Not only did they steal his parcels, they also stomped on his scanner, breaking it. Finally, they poured urine all over him, and left satisfied. Ricky's wife brought him, with a bruised and swollen face, to the hospital for an examination. While waiting for the X-ray results, the supervisor called. First, asked about the whereabouts of the remaining parcels. Then demanded £2,000 in compensation. £1,000 for the damaged scanner. The cost of the lost package is £1,000. The wife exploded upon hearing these words. He snatched Ricky's phone and cursed at him directly. "Your damn self-employment model. Actually, it's just unwillingness to provide insurance and welfare protection. My husband was brutally attacked and seriously injured. You don't care about his safety. Yet you're still discussing money." The wife, who never curses, broke down at this moment. She just can't understand. They have always abided by the law and cared for others. Now Ricky is covered in injuries from being beaten. Not only did he not receive compensation from others, but he also has to compensate others. The two of them supported each other as they left the hospital. At night, the son quietly pushed open the door, asking about Ricky's condition. "If you need help, he's right next door." At this moment, the father and son let go of their past grievances. The next day, although still bruised and swollen with blurred vision, Ricky still needs to wake up on time. In order to repay the loan, in order to support the family, he must persevere and go to work. Before leaving the house, he takes out, "Sorry, we missed you. Delivery unsuccessful notification from the courier company," leaving a message for his wife on it, saying, he has to go to work. Hoping his wife won't worry about him, the son hurriedly steps forward to stop him. "You're covered in injuries now, and only one eye can see clearly. Going out in this condition is risking his life." The wife is awakened by the arguing. She also comes to the front of the car to stop him. Ricky insists on leaving despite their dissuasion. During the journey, he keeps motivating himself, telling himself not to give up. not letting his family end up on the streets. Then he bursts into tears. A movie full of shock. A touching and exciting movie. The message conveyed by the film is, life goes on. And so does work. Who hasn't been through it? Alright, I am Shaw Yu. Give it a like, hit that follow button. Don't get lost in the next update.